Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials again. So in previous sessions we have studied about consolidation. So you can see over here consolidation definition we have studied. So what actually consolidation in the field we have studied. So types of consolidation we have studied. While studying about the types of consolidation, we have even studied about the total settlement, which is very important point, and in which we have studied that the primary settlement, primary consolidation, sorry, initial settlement, primary consolidation and secondary consolidation are three types of consolidation you must consider while calculating total settlement. So further you can see over here we have studied about the spring analogy, which is given by or which is developed by Terzaghi to understand about the consolidation. So spring analogy clearly tells about the consolidation. So after that we have studied about few of the terminologies such as excess pore water pressure or excess pore pressure, and hydrodynamic lag. About the hydrodynamic lag we have studied. Even we have studied about equilibrium wide ratio. So these are the three terminologies which we have understood by using a spring analogy. Even the consolidation, what is consolidation, how the consolidation occurs, all those things are also understood by using spring analogy. Further you can see Terzaghi's one-dimensional consolidation theory we have studied, and in that we have studied the assumptions which are made in Terzaghi's theory. Even we have studied about the derivation of Terzaghi's one-dimensional consolidation theory, which is very simple one. Next you can see uh, we have studied about normally consolidated soil, under consolidated soil and over consolidated soil. So we have studied about all these three parameters. After that we have studied about the over consolidation ratio, which is very important while solving the problems. Okay, further you can see we have studied about the consolidation test. So this was the thing which we have studied in previous sessions. So consolidation test is used to determine the consolidation amount of consolidation, so our amount of compressibility. So it is consolidometer or odometer is used to determine the consolidation test. So test apparatus consist of following devices: a loading frame, consolidation cell, and a dial gauge. So in this particular type of apparatus there are two types, or in this particular apparatus there are two types. One is fixed ring cell, another one is floating ring cell. In fixed ring cell only top stone will move. In floating ring cell both top and bottom stone will move. So this particular test is given in IS 2720 part 15. So after all the arrangement we are going to apply the initial load of 5 kilonewton. For soft soil initial load will be 2.5 kilonewton. So after that we are going to apply the load in increments, that is 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 300, 140, 80, 160, 300 and 640 kilonewton per meter square. After that we are going to reduce the load to the 1/4, and we are going to allow the soil to swell, and after that we are going to note down all the readings, and we are going to plot the curve which is called as compressibility curve or compressibility. uh, to determine the compressibility properties of the soil, this curve is very important. On x-axis there will be log sigma v, on y-axis there will be wide ratio. So based on this curve you can see over here we can study various properties, that is coefficient of compression bar compression index, that is denoted by cc. So you can see it is the slope of normal consolidation line in a plot of wide ratio and logarithmic effective stress. So it is a slope of normal consolidation line. So which is a normal consolidation line? You can see over here the first part, the loading part. As you can see in initial test procedure we are going to load the soil. So as loading increases, compressibility of soil increases, and as wide ratio compressibility, as compressibility of soil increases, wide ratio will decrease, but effective stresses in the soil will increase. Wide ratio decreases, effective stresses in the soil will increases. So slope of this normally consolidated line is called as coefficient of compression. So which is denoted like this, E2 minus E1. So we are going to consider any 2 points randomly on normal consolidation curve, and E2 minus E1 is going to give us the difference in y-axis. So log sigma 2 divided by sigma 1. Actually, it is log 10 to the base sigma 2 minus log 10 to the base sigma 1. So it is minus is there in between sigma 2 and sigma 1. So as you know that log something minus log any other parameter, we can write it as log the first parameter divided by log second parameter. So in that way we have written it. So minus sign is used over here. That's why we can see over here just we have rearranged the equation. So you can see the value of Cc is constant for given type of soil. So for any type of soil, for particular type of soil, value of Cc will be constant. The compression index is used to determine the primary consolidation settlement of normally consolidated soil. A high value of Cc indicates higher compressibility and higher consolidation settlement. What exactly this particular equation says? Cc is constant for particular type of soil. Cc is used, that is coefficient of compression or compression index is used to determine the settlement properties of the normally consolidated soil as well as primary consolidation of normally consolidated soil. So what it says that if Cc is high, the if Cc is high, then compressibility is higher and consolidation settlement will also be high. Next you can see, next parameter is swelling index. So it is average slope of loading and unloading curve, loading bar rolling, sorry, it is the average slope of unloading bar reloading curve in E versus sigma log sigma dash plot. Note, formula is same, only the difference is that it is applicable for unloading part. So you can see this particular coefficient of compression is taken from normally consolidated line, but the swelling index is taken from the unloading or swelling reloading line. So you can see over here it is compressing part and this is swelling part. So it is obviously very simple. Swelling index is a uh, slope of reloading line in E versus log sigma dash curve. It is very simple. It is the slope of E versus, it is a slope of reloading line in E versus log sigma dash curve. Okay, so everything will be same, but just we need to consider reloading or unloading part. Coefficient of compressibility, so it is very important. You can see over here coefficient of compression is different and coefficient of compressibility is different. So I have seen in the exam many of the students will get confused about these two parameters. Okay, so just be clear about this coefficient of compression is different and coefficient of compressibility is different. So it is denoted by AV. So it is a slope of wide ratio versus effective stress for a given stress increment. Sigma dash in wide ratio versus effective stress plot as shown. So it is the slope of wide ratio versus effective stress for a given stress increment. It is very simple, only log is not going to come. So EV is equal to minus E2 minus E1 divided by sigma dash minus sigma 2 dash minus sigma dash naught. So it is the initial one. Okay, so why we are considering minus? You can see over here this particular graph is decreasing, so we are considering the minus. So EV decreases with increase in effective stress. So as effective stress increases, uh, coefficient of compressibility decreases. So why coefficient of compressibility will decrease with the effective stress? So you can see over here effective stress is in denominator. So as denominator increases, the overall quantity or resultant will obviously decrease. Next, coefficient of volume compressibility or coefficient of volume change. So this is very important. So it is a ratio of change in volume of soil per unit initial volume due to unit increase in effective stress given by mv is equal to delta E divided by 1 plus E naught into 1 divided by delta sigma dash. So this is the formula for mv, where E is change in wide ratio, uh, sorry, delta, it should be delta E. Delta E is change in wide ratio, E naught is initial wide ratio, delta sigma dash is increase in effective stress, delta H is decrease in thickness under pressure increment, H naught is initial thickness of specimen. So these are the parameters which are very much useful. So even by using this formula we can also find mv. So mv is equal to minus delta H divided by H naught into 1 divided by delta sigma dash. So these are the two very important formulas to determine the coefficient of volume change. This coefficient of volume change is very much useful while solving the problems also. So you can just go through it. So next, after this, all the formulas which we have determined for by using the compressibility curve, uh, there is something which we need to determine, is that is coefficient of consolidation. So we have determined coefficient of compressibility, we have determined coefficient of compression, we have determined various coefficients by using the curve. But the important thing is we need to determine the coefficient of consolidation, that is CV. So to determine the CV by using the same curve, the coefficient of consolidation CV is determined by methods based on the compression between compression characteristics of theoretical compression between characteristics of theoretical relation between time factor and a degree of consolidation. So while determining the coefficient of consolidation, the important points which we need to consider is relation between time factor and degree of consolidation. So to be relation between time elapsed and degree of consolidation obtained for soil specimen in the laboratory. So there are three methods used to determine the CV. First one is logarithm of time fitting method. It is also called as Casagrande method. Second one is square root of time fitting method. Third one is hyperbola method. Actually, all these methods actually are not there for your syllabus, but once I have observed that this particular question was asked in previous year examinations, so just I will discuss about this. Okay, remember we are going to find out coefficient of consolidation by using various methods. First one is logarithm of time fitting method, which is also called as Casagrande's method. So Casagrande developed this method in 1930s. The theoretical curve plotted between U and log TV is used. So what is U and what is log TV? So TV is time factor, U is degree of consolidation. So at what time, what is the amount, at a particular time, what is the amount of consolidation we need to find out. So to determine the amount of consolidation at a particular instance of time, we need to draw this particular curve. So it is very simple. On x-axis, time factor is there. So this is the curve which is there for us. So this is a point P which is at a distance x from point R. This is the point Q which is at distance x from point P, and similarly you can see this is a tangent which is drawn, this is a point T. So you'll be able to understand all these things further. So plot the dial gauge readings of compression for given pressure increment versus time to log scale as shown. So the curve is to be drawn for dial gauge readings of compression for given pressure increment versus time. Okay, dial gauge readings versus time we have to draw on a log scale. Plot points PQ on upper portion of consolidation curve, say compression line. So you can see uh, we have to mark the points P and Q on upper portion of compression curve. So as shown in the figure. Next, corresponding to time T1 and T2 such that T2 is equal to 4 times T1. So how we have to mark P and Q? If the time instant at which we are marking P is T1, then time instance at which we are marking Q should be 4 times T1. So T2 is equal to 4 times T1. Like that we have to mark P and Q on the graph. So it is a fixed procedure. There is no any change. Let X be the difference in dial gauge readings between P and Q. Locate R at a distance X above the point P. So let X be the let X be the what is X? Difference in dial gauge readings between P and Q. So this is the, we need to find out difference between P and Q, and same vertical distance we have to use, and we have to mark the point R. Next, draw a horizontal line RS. The RS dial gauge readings corresponding to this line is D0, where corresponding to 0% consolidation. So we have to draw the straight line, so like this. So this we have to consider it as a zero, sorry, this straight line we have to draw, and this we have to consider as a zero consolidation line. So after that, consolidation will increase like this. Next, project the straight line proportion of primary and secondary consolidation to insert at the point T. The dial gauge readings corresponding to D is D100, means 100% consolidation. So finally you can see wherever this curve changes its, wherever the curve changes its uh, path, at that point we need to draw the tangent. So two tangents I have drawn over here, you can see these two tangents, and wherever these two tangents will meet, that point we have to name it as a T, and we have to draw the horizontal line which is going to give us 100% consolidation point. Determine the point V on consolidation curve which corresponding to dial gauge reading of D0 plus D100 divided by 2, that is D50. So D50 consolidation line we have to find out. So you can see D50, so this point is going to give us V. So I have not marked it V here, but average of 0 to 100 is going to give us 50, and this point will be V. Okay, corresponding to this dial gauge reading. So determine the CV. CV is equal to TV divided by H squared into T. For 50% consolidation, UZ is equal to 50%, TV is equal to 0.197. So you can see over here. So TV is equal to this particular point we have to measure, and this particular point is going to give us the value of 0.197. So TV is equal, or else you can find it out like this: TV is equal to pi by 4 UZ divided by 100 square. So like this, if you find, you will be able to find out the CV by using this particular formula. So this particular formula is constant to determine the coefficient of consolidation. So just it is a fixed procedure. It is very simple. First we have to mark the points P and Q such that time for P, if the time for P is T1, time for Q should be 4 times T1. Next, vertical distance between P and Q we have to consider. After that, we have to mark the point are at a same distance x, so we have to plot the horizontal line which is going to give us 0% consolidation line. Similarly, wherever this particular curve is changing its slope, we have to draw the two tangents and we have to mark the point T. So with by using the point T, we have to draw the horizontal line, and which is going to give us 100% consolidation. If we want to find out 50% consolidation, we just have to take the average and we have to mark the point. And by using this particular formula, that is CV is equal to TV into H square divided by T, we are going to find out the answer for CV. Okay, so the procedure is very simple, just fixed procedure is there. You can go through this procedure. Further things we are going to discuss in next session. So in next session, square root of time fitting method we are going to discuss. After that, there is another thing called determination of pre-consolidation pressure. So that determination of pre-consolidation pressure also we are going to discuss. After that, we are going to move to the time rate of consolidation. After that, difference between compaction and consolidation. After that, we are going to discuss about few of the important formulas which we have studied previously, and then we are going to move to the problems on consolidation. Okay, thank you.